أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. So today, Alhamdulillah, we are starting lesson 5. So in this lesson, primarily, we will be introducing mudaf wa mudaf ilayh, which is the possessive form in Arabic. The possessive form is a way to indicate that something belongs to someone or something. For instance, if you say Allah's book, meaning that the book that belongs to Allah, this is the possessive form in English. So in Arabic, it will be Kitabullah, the book of Allah, or Allah's book. So that's what we're going to, that's the new concept that's been introduced in this lesson. But of course, the lesson also puts together everything we've learned so far. For instance, the first example, we have a dialogue between Said and Yasir. So Said says, "Akitabu Muhammadin hadha ya Yasir?" Is this the book of Muhammad, O Yasir? So he's talking to Yasir and he's asking him, is this Muhammad's book? And then Yasir responds, La, no. هذا كتاب حامد. This is Hamid's book. So you notice the form Kitabu Hamid. So we have the owner comes after the owned. So Kitab, the book, is something that's owned by Hamid. So Hamid is the owner. So in Arabic, we say Kitab is Mudaf and Hamid is Mudaf ilayh. In other words, you can say Kitab is the item that's owned and Hamid is the owner. So possessed followed by the possessor, the owned followed by the owner. Okay? And you'll notice one thing, the Mudaf doesn't take tanween. You see, it only has one Dhamma. It doesn't take Dhammatain. Okay? That's the first thing to notice. The second thing to notice is that Kitab doesn't take Alif and Lam. It never takes Alif and Lam because the Mudaf is grammatically definite. So there's no need to add Alif and Lam to it. It's already definite. Okay? Now, when we say something is definite, which means that we can use it as the Mubtada in a nominal sentence. Remember, we studied nominal sentences in the last couple of lessons where we have things like Hada Kitab, this is a book. And we also saw another form which is Muhammadun fil Masjid. Muhammad is in the masjid. So Muhammad and Hada, these two are Mubtada. They are like the subject of a sentence, and the rest is the predicate. Okay, so we saw that. And one of the rules we mentioned is that the mubtada is always definite. I mean, not always all the time, but like 95% of the time it is definite. The cases where it's not definite, then there are some extra things you have to do to make it work, but primarily the mubtada is definite. We'll get to the intricacies of Mubtada that's not definite in the future, but for now, it's safe to just assume that the Mubtada is always definite. And since the Mudaf is also definite, which means you can use the Mudaf, this structure, you can use this combination, Kitabu Muhammad, you can use it as a Mubtada. Okay? Is everything I've said, are they clear to you guys? Or is okay, good. So So we've seen these two. We see Akitab Muhammad Hada. Yeah, Yasser. Is this Muhammad's book or Yasser? No. هذا كتاب Hamid. This is Hamid's book. أين كتاب Muhammad? Where is Muhammad's book? Again, notice that the kitab takes no tanween and that the mudaf ilayh is with kasratain. Okay, just like when something is preceded by ila or min or fi, any of the huruf jar, the noun becomes majrur. It takes kasratain. This is also the case when you have mudaf and mudaf ilayh. The mudaf ilayh is always majrur, meaning it always takes kasra. Okay? So the form to focus on is Kitabu Muhammadin, the book of Muhammad. The owner is always takes the kasra, okay? If you say Kitabu Muhammadun, it has a different meaning. Yes, it actually doesn't mean anything. If you say Kitabu Muhammadun, it doesn't mean anything. What might mean something is Al-Kitabu Muhammadun, meaning the book is Muhammad, which is silly. But at least the grammar kind of works out. So if you want to do a possessive, you have to make the mudaf ilayh, the owner, to have kasra, okay? And the item that's possessed cannot have tanween. Those are the rules, okay? Basically two rules. Let's say three rules. The item that's owned comes first and is followed by the owner as the first rule. The second rule is that the item that is owned cannot take tanween and it cannot take alif and lam, okay? And then the third rule is that the owner takes kasratain, okay? So those are the three rules of idafa, of mudaf and mudaf ilayh, okay? So he says, Aina kitabu Muhammad, where is Muhammad's book? And then Yarsi responds, Huwa alal maktabi hunak. It is on the desk there. So pointing to this desk. Hunak means there. So this is also a new word that's been introduced. Huna and hunak, here and there. Huna is here, something that's close to you. Hunak is something that's farther away from you. And then Said says, Aina daftaru Ammar. Where is Ammar's notebook? Aina daftaru Ammar. Where is Ammar's notebook? Notice that Ammar takes the jar to kasra, and daftar takes it comes first. So the item that's owned comes first. The owner comes after, and the owner is always with kasra. Okay. Okay, let's move on. هو على مكتب المدرس. Sorry?
What is daftar?
Daftar is notebook.
Oh, notebook.
Yeah.
So you are using the word, what's the word possessive, the Arabic word for possessive, mudaf?
Sorry?
The Arabic word for possessive.
Mudaf.
Like,
Mudaf.
it's
mudaf.
mudaf.
So
Okay, mudaf.
mudaf is the possessed item, is the item that's possessed, and mudaf ilayhi is the possessor, the
Mudaf
owner.
ilay. Okay, understood.
Yeah,
Yes.
mudaf ilayhi. Mudaf comes first. Mudaf ilayhi, which is the owner, comes after. So Aina Daftaru Ammar, where is Ammar's notebook? And then Yasir says, Huwa ala maktabil mudarris. It is on the teacher's desk. It is on the teacher's desk. Then Yasser says, sorry, Saeed then asks, قلم من هذا يا علي? Whose
Doctor,
pen?
sorry.
Now,
Can you recite the last phrase? هو على المكتب الدارس.
هو على مكتب المدرس. هو
Okay,
على مكتب المدرس.
okay, so هو على مكتب. So ba and lam is being connected with the sukun. مكتب المدرس.
Yes. هو على مكتب المدرس.
مكتب
So because
okay.
the مكتب المدرس, so whenever you're connecting, the alif falls off. So you don't say the alif. So you
Okay,
say
and
bill.
Doctor, yeah, Bill. So the meme is below the alif, right? Like maktabil, then there is a meme dal, or it's just maktabil dars.
مكتب المدرس. That's a meme below the lam.
Exactly.
Yes.
Alif and meme. Okay, okay. Maktabil
And then,
mudarris.
yeah, the meme takes a dhamma, mu, and then the
Okay.
dal takes a shad. The dal takes a fatha. The ra takes a shadda with a kasra.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mudarris, mudarris, mudarrisi. Now here you will notice that the mudaf, which is the first word here, maktab, it takes kasra. Do you know why it's taking kasra? Because
Because
of
both
ala.
of them. Oh, ala. Okay. Huwa ala. Okay.
Because of ala. Anything that follows ala will take kasra because it's a harful jar. We studied this in the last lesson. Okay.
Okay.
على مكتب المدرس. And then the al-mudarris is taking kasra because it is the mudaf ilayh. Mudaf ilayh always takes kasra, if you remember.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So then Saeed asks, قلم من هذا يا علي? Whose pen is this? Ya Ali. Man is who? So when you do قلم man, the pen of who is this? Ya Ali. You see this? قلم man. So man is used to ask the question who. But when you do قلم man, you're doing idafa of qalam to man. So the pen belonging to who is this, Ya Ali? So he's pointing to a pen, and then he's saying, whose pen is this, Ya Ali? And then Ali responds, he says, هذا قلم المدرس. This is the pen of the teacher. هذا قلم المدرس. This is the pen of the teacher.
Doctor,
Yeah?
in line Saeed, so it's saying qalamu, like the pen. So they are stating the pen. Then they're saying man has a ali.
No, no, no. قلم من هذا يا علي. So this is إضافة. This part, قلم من, is إضافة. So because you're saying the pen belonging to who is this? Ya Ali. Oh, Ali. Is it clear?
Clear. So you're saying idafa. So there is mudafa ilay, and there is idafa.
So idafa is the whole thing, the combination. Mudaf and the. So when you have an idafa construction, there are two components. There's the mudaf and the mudaf ilay.
Okay,
So
idafa.
here, yeah. So the mudaf is qalam, mudaf ilay is man in this case. And the whole construction, the pair together, we call it idafa. Okay?
Okay, understood.
The,
Okay.
so idafa is the process of saying something belongs to someone else. And then, of course, there are two parts to that. There's the owner and the owned, right?
Yes, yes.
And yeah, so, but the whole structure is al-idafa. Okay? So, قلم من هذا يا علي? Whose pen is this? or Ali. And then Ali says, هذا قلم المدرس. This is the teacher's pen. So this is a nominal sentence starting with هذا, and قلم مدرس is the predicate. But that predicate is an idafa, okay? So it's made up of قلم, which is the mudaf, and al-mudarrisi, which is the mudaf ilayh. In other words, qalam is the item and al-mudarrisi is the owner. So the teacher's pen. This is the teacher's pen. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, then Sides ask another question. Aina haqibatul mudarrisi. Where's the teacher's bag? Where's the teacher's bag? And then Ali says, here tahta al-maktabi. It is under the desk. Now here another word is introduced, which is tahta, which means under. So here tahta al-maktabi, it is under the desk. So tahta al-maktab, there are two ways to look at, to see it. You can say that it is idafa, meaning tahta and al-maktabi, but another way to, actually a better way to look at it now is to say that tahta is harfu jar. It's a harfu jar, which is like ala, you know. And then al-maktabi will be majrur because of that. Okay.
Harf jar means what, doctor?
It's a genitive preposition. Genitive preposition. Genitive means that so if you say a book is on the table, somebody is sitting on the bed, something is under the desk, I'm standing on the stairs, because you are always showing relationship between one thing and another thing. The word that helps you to show that relationship are these prepositions, like on, under, beside, to, and so on. These words, these are called huruf in Arabic, and they are called huruful jar if they force the noun that follows them to take kasra. They are called huruful jar. Okay, is it clear?
Clear, yes. It's just only connecting words and it forces the huruf al-jar to take a kasra.
It forces the noun that follows it to take the kasra. The word itself is harfu jar.
Harf,
So,
okay.
so ala is a harfu jar. Min is harfu jar. Fi is harfu jar. We studied them in the previous lesson. If you go back, we saw a couple like an, min, ila. You see ila here, ila al-mirhadi. So this ila is a harfu jar. It forces mirhad to take a kasra. Okay. If we go back.
You said
An, yes.
an.
Yeah, the An Abi Huraira, for instance.
Abi Hurairah, yes, understood, yes.
Yeah. So, and yeah, and Aisha, and
Yes.
and Osman, and so on. So these words, there's a list. They are listed. There's a place where they are all listed. Yeah. So here, 4 of them are given. Fi, ala, min, ila, min huruf al-jar. These 4 are among the huruf al-jar. Min itself is a harf al-jar, so it forces huruf to take kasra. You see that?
Yes.
And al-jarri here takes kasra because it's a mudaf ilay. So huruf is mudaf, and الجر is مضاف إليه. Okay.
Doctor, can you say what fi ala mean ila? What does this mean?
Sure, sure. Fi means in, ala means on, min means from, ila means to. So fi means fil balad, in the city. Ala al-maktabi, on the desk. Ala al-kursi, on the chair. Min, from. Min al-Yaban, from Yaban, from Japan. Ila Syria, to Syria. Ila America, to America, and so on. Okay. So these huruf al-jar, there are many of them, but in the previous lesson, we just introduced just a couple of them. But you will see more and more of them as we make progress, inshallah. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to this lesson. So we were here. Here تحت المكتب. It is under the desk. Notice that here is used because haqiba is a feminine noun. Haqiba is a feminine noun. One of the ways you know if a word is feminine or masculine is the ending. If it has ta marbuta, in most cases, like 99% of cases, it's a feminine word. Okay? So when you replace it with, sorry?
Ta marbuta means ta ends with dhamma.
No. Ta marbuta means ta does. So there are two kinds of ta. There's ta maftuha, open ta, and then there's closed ta. So the ta marbuta is the closed one. You see, it's written like a ha, but with the two dots of ta on top.
Yes. Okay. Ta maftuha is open.
So ta maftuha is the regular ta that's open, and ta marbuta is the one that is written like a ha, but with two dots on it. So that's why when you stop on ta marbuta, it becomes a ha. So for instance, when you stop on haqiba, so this ta becomes a ha.
Yes.
Haqiba, haqiba, like that. Okay. When you're reading Quran, for instance, if you stop on a ta marbuta, you switch it back to its ha and you give it a sukun. Okay.
Yes.
There's a little bit of tajweed here. Mushaf. Anyway, let's focus on the Arabic because tajweed is another course. Okay, so and then here we have so we're done with the examples. Now there are exercises for this lesson. So the first one is try to answer the following questions. أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية. So this is عن, the one that we just talked about. So it will, because it's a harf jar, the أسئلة here will take a kasra. أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية. Okay. Respond to the following questions. Okay. أين?
And means
Go ahead.
to.
No, it means from or to.
From.
Well, in this case, respond to. That's what it means. But typically it means from. For instance,
Okay, so
when
me
we're talking about chain of narration in hadith and Abi
from.
Huraira, from or on the authority or whatever, however you translate it. But yeah. But in
So
this
me
case, go ahead.
min is also from min.
Yeah, it's from, but they mean different things. We
Okay.
translate them all as from, but the context, you cannot use one in the context of the other. You cannot use the one where you're supposed to use the other one. They're not the same, but you get a feel for this context as you see more examples of usage, inshallah. Okay.
Understood. Yes.
Aina kitabu Muhammad. Where is Muhammad's book? Can anyone try to respond?
أين كتاب محمد كتاب محمد المكتب
So you
مسجد.
can respond. First of all, we need to replace Kitab Muhammad with a pronoun. So you say huwa alal maktabi. It is on the desk.
هو على المكتب. Okay.
Yeah. Then we have Aina Kitabu Ammar. Where is Ammar's book? Where is
What
Ammar's book? Aina Kitabu Ammar. Now notice that if we were to put the harakat on, Kitabu would take a dhamma, no tanween, and Ammarin would take kasratain. Okay. Aina Kitabu Ammarin. Same thing here. Aina Kitabu Muhammadin. Okay.
okay.
Because you know why, right? Because Muhammadin and Ammarin, both of them are mudaf ilayh, which always takes kasra or kasratain.
So
Okay.
doctor, just because all the examples before were kasra, Darisi, Darisi, Ammar, and the names were the names were kasratain.
Not all names can be kasratain.
Okay.
We also did this in the last I don't know, one of the earlier lessons. We classified the names, actually the nouns, into two categories. We have the fully decleansed. That's the grammatical term. The fully decleansed, they take domatain, fatatain, kesratain. Okay. And then you have the partially decleansed, which do not take kesratain. So instead of kesratain, they take, so they do not take tanween to begin with. Okay. And when they do take, when they're supposed to take kesra, it is it is in the form of fatha.
Okay.
So they only take fatha and dhamma. They never take kasra. An example is Omar. So we say an Omaro. We don't say an Omari because it's partially decleansed. The same thing with
Okay.
Aisha. We say an Aishata radiallahu anha. We don't say an Aishati because Aisha is one of those that are partially decleansed. We did this in the last lesson or the one before. Let me go back. Let's see if I can find the list. Okay, this is the list. You see, on this side you have names that take tanween, so they are fully decleansed, and then we have names that do not take tanween, and they do not take kesra. So you cannot say ila aminati. You always have to say ila aminata. You cannot say min zainabi. It has to be min zainaba. You cannot say an Fatimati, it has to be an Fatimata, and so on. You cannot say ila Maryama, ila Maryami, it has to be ila Maryama, okay? Or min Maryama,
Saying
okay?
always
So
fatha.
these, sorry?
These are all you mentioned all of them with fatha. These are all with dhamma, right?
They can take Dhamma or Fatha, but they can never take Kesra.
Okay.
These, the one on the left, they take Dhammatain, Kesratain, and Fathatain. They take
Uh,
all three.
okay. Okay. They take okay. So on the right, so it takes all the
Yes. They also take tanween, but the one on the right, they never even take tanween. No tanween and no kasra.
Doctor, tanween means exactly what?
Tanween is when you double the haraka like Dhamma, two Kasra, two Fatha. That's Tanween. Okay. So Tanween is Muhammadun. That's Tanween. Dun, the un at the end is Tanween. Muhammadin, in is Tanween. Muhammadan, the an is Tanween. Okay. So Tanween is basically adding an extra noon at the end. This is Tanween. Is it clear?
All fully declared letters, right? So instead of Muhammad, in the dua, this one, أنت الحق ووعدك الحق وقولك الحق ولقاؤك حق, and then والجنة حق والنار حق, and then والساعة حق. So instead of saying ساعة حق, can I say ساعة حق? If I say fatha instead of dhamma, is it a mistake? And then
It
it says
is.
ومحمد. Okay, then it says
Yeah,
ومحمد.
it is.
Okay,
Yeah. If you
and
say
again
Fatah instead of Kasra, these are common mistakes
instead of
that
dhamma,
people.
not dhamma, instead of dhamma.
Yeah, instead of Dhamma, if you put Fatah, then sometimes you've changed the meaning also. It's not
Yeah,
just
okay. So,
about the.
so one mistake, I mean, the one I understood is a mistake is probably because the dua is from the sunnah. So, is it grammatically correct and wrong by sunnah, or is it wrong grammatically? It's wrong also.
No, the Sunnah will never have mistakes. The Sunnah doesn't have mistakes.
Yeah, what I
Anything
mean is,
that's.
yeah. So
If
what I mean is,
the person reading it might make a mistake, but the Sunnah itself would not have grammatical errors.
yeah.
The
So
Hadith,
Muhammad,
yeah.
yes, Muhammadun is from the hadith. So when I'm saying Muhammadun to Muhammadan, so I'm making, so is it a grammatical mistake, or also I'm making a mistake due to the sunnah? Meaning I'm changing the sunnah.
So as long as it's not your intention, innamal amal binniyat, right? Usually it would not be your intention to change the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In most
Yes,
cases, people make these mistakes unintentionally, so there is no sin because it's unintentional. But of course, if somebody knows and then he's making mistake knowingly, then this is bad. This is a sin. Okay, this is like lying on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But most cases, this is not the case. It's a it's a mistake because either they never learned this, they never learn Arabic, or they don't know the rules, or whatever. But it's not a sin. Okay. In fact, when you're reading the Quran, people also make these mistakes. Even when they're reading the Quran, they will put the wrong harakah. But for the Quran, if so, the in Tajweed we have what is called Allahnul Jalij. They categorize the errors. So there are some errors that are very bad because they change the meaning of the word of Allah. So these are considered sinful, especially, yeah. So these are the ones that we should try to avoid, the ones that really change the meaning of the word of Allah. But we should try to avoid all errors, of course.
yes, for sure, for
but
sure. Yes,
but people, yeah, the level of education is not the same. So plus it's another language. It's not your mother tongue. So there are many excuses for us, but as long as we keep trying to get better,
yes.
inshallah, it should be
Okay,
okay.
one more
Allah,
question. Okay,
yeah.
I know the dua Rabbi zidni ilma. Okay, and then the other dua is ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Okay, so can we combine the dua and say like this ربي زدني علما في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة? This is, I mean, this is just because, I mean,
It's not recommended to change the text. If
yes.
it's a dua from the Quran, just stick with it.
So what
Because
I mean is,
the implication of changing the word of Allah is that you're saying you know better, which is very an arrogant thing to do.
No, I mean, I'm not changing the language. What I'm trying to say is, I only know these words. Like I understand the meaning of these words. So if I like, for instance, in prayer, if
Hmm.
in Fard prayer or even in the Sunnahs, if we even want to make dua, we should not like I think the general call is we try to make it in Arabic, if possible, to make it in Arabic.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So now, if I want to increase my dua, I need to like I know the words from the like sorry, the Sunnah dua or the Quran. I know these words only. I don't know any other words. So sometimes I put two three words together and make up a new dua. So I mean, is it okay, or I should never do this?
It depends. I mean, if the meaning you're trying to convey is not already conveyed by the original dua itself, then it's fine. But if the meaning is already what's already conveyed, then just use the word that's in the
Understood.
that yeah in the Sunnah or the Hadith or the Quran. But in general, we try to stick with the nas, the source. We try, but sometimes we need to adjust the source. For instance, if the source is using singular, but then you
Make it
want to pray for a congregation, okay, then you need to make it plural, because then when you say Rabbi ghfirli, oh Allah forgive me, you're not praying for everyone, you're only praying for yourself. But if you're trying to pray for everyone, you say Rabbi ghfir lana, then you made it plural. Is it clear? So there are some cases where you need to change the form to make it plural so that it applies to your context. Okay? So for instance, in the Quran, Rabbi zidni ilma is the way it comes. But if you are praying for the congregation, you say, Rabbi zidna ilma. Oh Allah, increase us all in knowledge. So those are fine because you're adjusting the prayer to the context. Because in the context in the Quran, it's one person praying for himself. But here you want to pray for the whole Jama'ah, then you need to adjust it to so that the pronoun is correct. Okay? Okay, so I think we digressed a little bit. So let's get back on track. Um, okay, so we were here. Aina Kitab Ammar, where is Ammar's book? We can say Huwa al Maktab, it's on the desk. Aina Hakibatul Mudarrisi, where's the teacher's bag? Because Hakiba is feminine, we'll say here. تحت المكتب, it's under the desk, or تحت الكرسي, or تحت السرير, that the bag is under it is under the bed, under the desk, and so on. Okay.
Hua is male, here is female.
Sorry?
Hua and here.
Yeah. Huwa is he, here is she. But because in Arabic, even things that have no life, like books and bags, they have a gender. So kitab is masculine, haqiba is feminine. So when you want to replace it with a pronoun, because we don't have it in Arabic, we have huwa and here. So if it's a masculine noun, you say huwa. If it's a feminine noun, you say here. But when you translate it to English, you translate both of them to it. You know? Aina kitabu Ammar, where is Ammar's book? Huwa tahta sarir. It is under the bed. Huwa. We translate huwa to it. Similarly, Aina haqibatul mudarrisi. Where is the teacher's bag? We say here, alal kursi. It is on the chair. So here, we use here to replace haqiba because it's feminine. And then when we translate it to English, we translate it as it, because in English we don't use she and he for for non-humans. Okay? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear from my view. Yes.
Okay, good. So let's move on to the next exercise. So here you're required to أضف الكلمة الأولى إلى الثانية. Add the first word to the second. So basically what they're saying is do the idafa of the first word to the second. So for instance, we have kitabun and we have Muhammadin. To form idafa, we say kitabu Muhammadin. Kitabu Muhammadin. Notice that the kitabun has lost its tanween. Now it's just one dhamma. And Muhammad has become majrur. It has taken kasra. Okay? So let's take turns and try to do for the next couple of examples. So here we have qalamun and we have hamidun. So if you want to make this into Hamid's pen, it will be qalamu hamidin. Qalamu hamidin. Hamid's pen. Is that clear? Okay, so now your turn. Try to do Baitun and Abbas. Try to connect them with idafa.
Baitu Abbasin.
Baitu
Sorry,
Abbas. Yeah.
Baitu Abbas.
Yes. Naim, you're next.
غرفة
Mhm.
غرفة علي عليا
Aliyin. Ghurfatu
علي
Aliyin. Yeah. Because the
غرفة.
mudaf ilayh always takes kasra.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Ghurfatu Aliyin. And then the mudaf will lose its tanween. It will lose it, one of the dhammas. Okay.
Okay.
So next one, Daftarun and Sa'idun.
دفتر
Mhm.
دفتر سيد
Yes. Daftaru Sa'idin.
دفتر
Next one,
سيد
Mandilu Yasirin.
Mindilu Yasirin. In some places they call it Mandil, but Mindilu Yasirin. Mindilu Yasirin. Yasir's handkerchief. So it
Doctor,
loses this. Yeah, go ahead.
in the what you call it, the proper noun, the name of the person, it will mudaf ilayhi. It will always end with kasratain.
It depends. If the noun takes tanween, yes, it will end with kasratain. But if it doesn't take, we just saw some examples where you're not allowed to give it tanween, right? You're also not
Yes,
allowed to
yes.
give it kasra. So for those, it would be fatha in those cases. Also,
Fatha.
for some words, like say Allah, for instance, because Allah doesn't take tanween, right?
No,
But
because
but but it does take fatha and kasra and dhamma. So it will just take a single kasra. Also, if the noun already has alif lam in front, then it cannot take tanween. Remember, the rule is that if you introduce alif lam to a noun, it would lose its tanween. So in that case, it will only take kasra, the mudaf ilayh. Okay.
yes.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. Qamisun and Ammar. Qamisun, Ammar.
Right.
So if you
Qamisu
do the idafa,
Marin.
yeah. Qamisu Ammarin. Qamisu Ammarin. Okay. Is it clear?
Clear.
Power. Then the next one, Sarirun and Khalidun. If you do the idafa, what would it be?
Sariru and
Mhm.
Khalid. Sariru
Sariru
Khalid.
Khalidin. Yes. Sariru Khalidin. Very good. Next one is up here. We have Miftahun and Al-Baytu. So Miftah means key, Al-Baytu means the house. So basically, it's going to translate to the house's key, the key of the house. So how would you
Iftahu al-Bayti.
Miftahul Bayti. Remember the alif, you drop the alif, you don't pronounce it.
Okay, sukun, yes, Miftahu al-Bayti.
Very good. And then the next one, the Kanun and At-Tajiru.
Dukkanul Tajir.
Dukkanu Tajiri. Dukkanu Tajiri. So the ta, because the ta has a shadda, because
Okay,
it's a sun letter. Remember we did the sun letters? Do you guys remember?
yes,
When
some
you have,
letters, one letter.
yeah. Okay, so when you have alif and lam and it's followed by a sun letter, the lam becomes a ta, so that the ta takes a shadda, and then
Tajiri.
yeah,
Doctor, what does it mean, Dukkan Tajiri?
Dukkan or tajiri means the shop of the trader,
A shop
of
of
the
trader,
merchant.
okay.
Yeah, the shop of the merchant. The merchant's is shop. Dukkan is shop. A tajir is a merchant or trader. Okay. Then we have Baytun and Al Muhandisu. So
So,
what would that be?
Baytul Muhandisi.
Baytul Muhandisi. Muhandisi. Be careful with your ha because it's sounding like ha. It's
Muhandisi.
sounding Muhandisi.
Okay,
So
doctor.
what I'm
So
so
how do I pronounce ha? I mean, I have this issue, okay, even while reading the Quran. So ha and ha.
so ha so ha, your tongue is Muhandisu. Muhandisu. So I think it will make this class very long. We should do that in another session, okay? But basically, their makhraj, the makhraj, the where they come from is close to each other, but also they have slightly different properties. Okay, we can do that in another session, inshallah. Okay, so we have Baytul Muhandisi, then we have Ismun and Al Waladu.
Ismul waladi.
Yeah, very good. One thing to say about Ism is that the Hamza in the beginning of Ism is a Hamzatul Wasl, which means it's similar to the Hamza that you have in Al. It means that if something comes before, you will drop this Alif. You won't pronounce it. That's why in Bismillah, we don't even write the Alif in Bismillah because it's never pronounced. Bismillah. We have B coming before Ism. So we don't say Bi Ismi, we say Bismi. Because the Hamza is Hamzatul Wasl. It always drops when something comes before. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Kitabun and Allah.
Kitabullah.
Kitabullah. Very good. And then when you show the haraka on Allah, what would it be if you want to show the haraka that Allah has? So would it be Kasra, Dhamma, Fatah? What would it be?
Kitabullah. Kitabullah. Kitabullahi.
Yes, because it's a mudaf ilayh, right?
Yes.
Kitabullahi. Okay. So when you see this, when you see mudaf and mudaf ilayh in the Quran, you know why certain things take kasra and why they don't, right? Sometimes they take kasra, sometimes it takes fatha. At least now you know one of the reasons why something can take a kasra. So far, we've done two reasons for something to take a kasra. One is mudaf and mudaf ilayh. The other is if it's preceded by one of the huruf al-jar, right? So here, the next one is bintun and at-tabibu.
Bintul Tabibi.
Bintu tabibi. Because ta is a son letter, so we don't say the lam. Bintu tabibi. Is it clear, that one?
Yes.
Then we have miftahun and as-sayyara.
مفتاح السيارة سيارة
If you want to show the haraka and the ta, what would it be?
سياراهي
Mhm.
سيراهي
مفتاح السيارة. مفتاح
Oh,
السيارة.
yes.
So
مفتاح
that means
السيارة.
the key to the car, the car's key.
Okay.
The car's key. مفتاح السيارة. بنت الطبيب means the doctor's daughter. The doctor's daughter. Okay. Should we stop here since we have hit the 1
Yeah.
hour mark? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll continue from here next time, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Just one last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The last letter takes kasra for two reasons. One is mudaf ilay, and the second one was I think, what did you say?
If a harf jar comes before, then it will force it to get kasra, like ala, min, ila, an, and so on.
Understood.
Ma'a. So these are all huruf jar. Ma'a, you see here. We have ala, we have fi, and so on. Okay, we have
Yeah.
min. Okay. All right. So any other question before we close?
No, not yet.
Okay. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, inshallah, we'll meet again next week. And
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.